that we don't know enough about otters to make good conscious conservation results. So what I want to do is I want to have the fur trappers partner with me. And that's why I happen to say River Otter Research Partnership with Florida River Otter Fur Trappers. Okay? And I think that's a critical issue. I'd like to thank, once again, Janine and Bob Driscoll for helping me and inviting me to come here. And thank you again for what wonderful hospitality. The extreme importance of this research requires a great deal of research assistance from Florida colleges, university, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and potential financial backers of the research. But you can't, you can't do things unless you got some money, and you got the people and someone to facilitate that and manage it. And for me, my job is to do that. But my primary responsibility is to where see if I don't read it, then I get lost. But you can read it. Can you see it? To read it? Okay. Is that my responsibility is to ensure these organizations support and not in this research. In particular, I must ensure your participation is not negatively impacted. I'm the buffer between those people and you, because I've found that I can really talk to you folks, and you talk to me, and you share stuff with me, and I'm just amazed. But at this time, I'd like to ask assistance for the following information. I would like to see if I can get some pre-skinning weights, sexes, and total lengths of the body, including the tail and the length of the tail of the otters you trap in the future or may have trapped in the past. I don't know what information you save when you trap an otter, what you write down about them, But I would like to know if there's only one thing you can give me. Can you give me where you caught it, where you trapped it? Because to me, that's an otter sighting, as is the roadway mortality and otter sighting. So that becomes part of the sighting database. And so that's a real important thing for me. One of the things too is that if you have lay people, people that don't understand something about some, for example, organism like an otter or a bear or a coyote, what's the difference between a coyote and a feral dog? You've got to help them understand what that is. So I need to know if we have males and females together and how different they are in size. Because up in the north of Florida, the otters are, the females are 75% the size of the males. And one of the challenges we face is that the reason we want to know it is difference between the two in size is because during breeding season, the male and female are together. Is it a male and a female, or is it a female that's with her almost mature daughter? We need to know those things. We need to know about how long those otters are, and that's a thing. So the males, they're not really part of the family. The male is he goes breeds the females and leaves. The family unit is the female and her pups, and sometimes a helper from a previous litter, or immature female from a previous litter, maybe last year's litter, the year before, because females mature at right around 2 years. The males a little bit more than 2 years, but the males don't breed until they're about, at least based upon what we know up north, till they're about, in other words, 6 to 8 years old, something like that. So And then, you know, where are those males that are 6 to 8 years old, or the ones that are younger, that are immature? Where are those? Where are those males? Where are they hiding? So if you see 4 or 5 otters swimming together and they're all the same size, you probably have a bachelor group. A bachelor group of otters, and then along with those bachelor group of otters will be immature females too. But when the female becomes mature, based upon what we know about otters and bachelor groups in other parts of the country, the females are chased out, and they go out and find their own way. One of the challenges we face is that during breeding season in Florida, the breeding season is different here in Florida. It's basically November and December, late November, mid November to January, through December rather.
Does that make any difference whether it's northern Florida, central Florida, southern Florida?
Well,
Because for here it does.
we don't really know. I would suspect that if you're in subtropical, tropical climates, in other words, I would say south of here, you may see a difference in the reproductive strategy for otters there. What happens is the male breeds the female several times, and he breeds 3 or 4 or more females that probably have den sites in different places, and they go between each den site and breed the females several times because they're induced ovulators. They have to be bred before the egg will leave the ovary. And then in northern otters, they breed in the spring, like May. The female she's with her pups in May, and she ovulates when she's lactating. That's a very, very rare phenomenon in mammals. You know, when lions, if a group of male lions want to usurp a sitting male in a pride, they chase the male away or kill him, and they kill all the cubs so the females are recycled. So this is why I love this stuff, you know?
Disney would hate that.
Yeah, so biggest problem, because the males breed females several times, and it's a time when we have a lot of vehicles and a lot of people here. They're crossing the roads. To me, the #1 predator of otters is motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unquestionably.
Yeah. And so, for example, if we were to look at these 2 otters, this is a pair of otters. This was done in, this picture was taken in 2014, I think. And you see the tails they're about the same distance from it, and he's maybe a little bit further away from the camera than the female is. But if you take her head and move it down, her nose would be about here. That's probably 10% or less the length of a male. We're up north, the females are 25%. So, and you know, there's all kinds of, if you see 2 together, and they breed in the water, they breed on land, and there's a lot of biting, a lot of screaming, a lot of caterwauling.
Not first class.
And the female gets bitten quite often too. So, contrast to whatever. So I thought, if we catch a carcass, these are the things I really would need. I would like to know the day it was tracked, the sex, the GPS coordinates, description of the habitat. Was it a marsh? Was it a cypress marsh? Was it a salt marsh? You know, that sort of thing. What is the pre-skin information? The weight in pounds, weight in pounds and ounces, okay. The total length and the length of the tail. Was there any hair left on the carcass? Yes or no? That we can take the hair and the tissue, and we can send it in and get a DNA sample from it. And then how was the carcass preserved prior to someone picking it up from you? You know, did you freeze it? My concern is I can't get to every place that someone has picked up a roadkill otter from north of, the north tip of Okeechobee down through the Keys. I have to get volunteers in different places. And do all of you have a room in your place to freeze the stuff you trap?
All of it, we used to have, yeah.
Yeah. I have a little chest freezer in my garage. That's where I do my necropsies and stuff in the garage. And so I would provide these, you know, for people. And then here's some questions. We were talking about this earlier, recruiting people. Do you have contact with or know of otter fur trappers that are not members of the FTA? You think they may be interested in becoming part of this partnership, i.e. of FTA member? And do you have a freezer or access to a freezer where you could store otter carcass for several months? That's the questions I have. And some of you have my cards, but if you don't, my cards are up on the desk up there. So this is how to contact me once again, same as before. Please take a minute and look for this. You know, you will like that. You'll like it. And what you should do too is look at the one about the guide to the do's and don'ts of living with otters in Florida. I always list the don'ts first, because you don't say the don'ts and the do's, do we? We say the do's and the don'ts. So then the don'ts helps protect you, and the do's will give you fun. So thank you so very much, and